Hello, fine people. How are you? Is this centered? I need it to be centered. Or I need to be centered. Am I centered? I don't know. I try to be centered. Centered-ish. Let me see if that is it. I feel like that's center-ish. Is that like a shadow? I don't know. I don't know. How are y'all? Are you doing good? Everybody is well? You're having a terrific, triumphant Taco Tuesday. I was trying to think of a T that didn't have the TH sound. Hello, hello. Creating successful IEPs. Look how professional you look. Oh, and I saw your new pictures, Shannon. You look so fancy pants. I do have a new pair of glasses that I just wanted to show you guys. We're not going to do it because I feel like I don't know, I should be like on the witness stand somewhere, but I just got these from Amazon. Now, you guys know I don't wear real glasses. These are just readers, right? And they're a little scary, but I kind of like it. It's too much, isn't it? Maybe if the frame wasn't so big. Anyway, so it's close, right? It's close, but no banana. Yeah. I have so many glasses. I have glasses and glasses and glasses, and then glasses to match every outfit. There's nothing worse than having your glasses not match your undertones or the hardware. See, so it has to match the hardware. So your suit, yeah, these are all things. Thank you. Amber said she likes them. So they look a little scary. I'm getting the look from Elena. Uh-oh, hold on. Let me see if I can pay attention. Pay attention. I can barely afford to pay attention. I just bought 4 pounds worth of barbecue in Texas and a pound of sausage. It was $123. And she goes, so I just repeated, it's $123. She goes, and 35 cents. Oh, okay. Okay. And then she asked for the thing if I should tip her. Okay, ma'am, I'm standing holding my car keys or I'm wearing a seatbelt. Here's your tip. Don't pet a dog on fire. I feel like that's like money, but it's a tip. Hi, kids. How are y'all? They're good. How are you? I'm flawless and hydrated. I'm drinking water today out of my steel Magnolias cup, which has some foul language on it. But I like it. Yeah, I'd rather have 30 minutes of wonderful than a lifetime of nothing special. Have you ever watched that movie, you guys? Terms of Endearment?
The time.
Last Thanksgiving, I stayed in the city. It was the best. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to go ahead. Fire away. Oh, I like your nails, Elena.
Okay. I don't see you on TikTok yet.
Well, there's 216 of us. We're waiting to see you, ma'am.
Absolutely. Let's see. Oh,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, they like those glasses. Did y'all see those glasses? We're a little harsh. Yeah. Ask your questions in the comments, and we will get to as many as possible. I'm gonna start out with some information. I'm gonna make a TikTok about it, but I am so stinking sick of school districts lying and telling me that their HR department said that they could hire somebody. Well, let me tell you what. 2 things. If you're in Texas, if you're not in Texas, just scroll past it. But if you're in Texas and you're a district of innovation, we don't care. You have to be certified in special education. And if you are a teacher in Texas and you're an international teacher, here is the international teacher checklist. Notice nothing on it said special education. So I have a recording today, which I'm going to make a series out of, and he said, if you are not a special educator, you don't meet the qualifications of the job. So anyway, so there's that, and there's that. All right, ladies, I'm ready.
Okay. Is math and reading the only thing that can be taught in resource?
No, you can teach any core class that needs to be modified. So math, science, social studies, reading, language arts. And probably my first husband. Sorry, we'll cut that part out. Let's ask the question again because my person that edits is not going to make this. I was so good, wasn't it? He needed a modification. I gave him a modification. Okay, ask me the question again. I'm going to act like I'm a grown-up.
Absolutely. Are reading and math the only things that could be taught in resource?
No, so resource is a class for kiddos that have an IEP that need to have modifications in a separate setting. So that can be reading, language arts, science, social studies, or math.
Excellent. Is being bullied a violation of FAPE? The teachers didn't do anything to prevent any incidents of bullying?
So bullying would be a violation of FAPE when there's part of the IEP that addresses it. You would be hard pressed to see an IEP that has bullying addressed in it. I think bullying most time falls under classroom management and administration responsibility to respond when teachers say that they need support or help with students. But bullying wouldn't be part of a student's individualized education plan because that's not, bullying is not a characteristic of a disability.
Fantastic. Please discuss what RBTs do in the classroom and what they can't do. So what they can do and what they can't do in the classroom.
Registered behavioral technicians?
Yes.
Not resting teacher? No. Okay, now we're going to start over again. You know what? I'm a little spicy today. Okay, just ask me again. Sorry, we'll just skip that.
Absolutely. Yes. Please discuss what RBTs can do and not do in the classroom.
So they can do whatever is required to help the other staff members address behavioral needs. And so behavioral needs are like saying how long is a string or how many colors of blue are there. There's a million kinds of behaviors that impede a student's learning or the learning of others. Everything from inattention to, being dysregulated in the building and, tearing up part of the room. So it just depends on the acuity of the needs of the students that the RBT has been assigned to. But hopefully they're providing, recommendations, behavioral supports, and strategies so that the other staff members can mitigate those behaviors and then, more importantly, teacher replacement behavior.
Excellent. Is an IEP the same in a special education school as compared to a public school?
An IEP is an IEP. So an individualized education program is implemented and public schools that receive federal grant money under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So those are private special schools that could be in a psychiatric facility, that could be in the criminal justice system, that could be parts of a hospital, that could be a charter school.
In Massachusetts, what law specifically states service delivery minutes need to be logged?
So, do you see all of those pieces? So, service delivery minutes need to be logged because that's part of being a service delivery provider. So, right, so if you're a related provider, related instructional provider, or a related service provider, or an instructional service provider, you have to log those hours, right? I went and saw Rachel. I was here Thursday. I was here next Thursday. I was here all the Thursdays, right? And that log has to match up to what we agreed to on the IEP. So there's a lot of things that are requirements that don't necessarily have a standalone. Is there a log standalone law? No, there's an expectation under federal law and state statutes of the implementation of special education and related services. But every single tiny detail isn't a requirement. But I can tell you, ask my friend Cindy, is when we file a state complaint, the first thing the state does, or when we file a federal complaint, what the state does or the federal government does is they say, hey, Elena, we'd like to see a copy of your logs. We would like to see your manuals. We would like to see your data. We would like to see your training on putting kids with behavioral needs with non-disabled students. So the first thing that's going to happen in an audit or an investigation, however that comes to your school, is they're going to be asking for copies of all of those things.
Okay. How can I, as a school nurse, advocate for a student to be placed in a therapeutic school?
It's going to be hard. So I was in a meeting today and I said, what we're doing for this student in this school is not successful. And everybody got their feelings hurt and we moved into teachers love children. And I had to say, I'm just going to stop you right there. This is not a love issue. This is a business meeting. This is the business of educating a child. And what we can provide at a school has parameters. It has limitations, right? Schools are not hospitals. Schools do not have physicians working there. Schools cannot provide a student hours of counseling during a day. And there is a small percentage of our population that it's going to need education outside of a public school, but based upon the funding from a public school. So one of my requests today for this district was we are requesting for out-of-district placement at the expense of the district. And so I think the nurse has great input. Unfortunately, the nurse is not one of the stakeholders. I think that she's very important in the meeting, but certainly bring all of your information to the table.
Okay, great. All right. My district is insisting that a student must be labeled ID to qualify for the STAR alternative.
Well, here's the good news. You know who has labels? Boxes and cans. So children have eligibilities, and the STAR Alt 2 requirements in Texas have great specificity. So the first one of the first qualifications is the student a student with a severe cognitive impairment? So you could be a student with a severe cognitive impairment and not be ID. You could be a student that has had a traumatic brain injury. You could be a student that has cerebral palsy. You could be a student that's profoundly impacted and deaf blind. So this notion that you have to have a name of an eligibility is shenanigans. I have students that take the STAR Alt 2 in Texas, and they have autism and a speech impairment. So God bless Texas, because I live here. But the requirements are listed out. You can go to TEA, the Texas Education Agency, or email inquire@spedtex.org, INQUIRE @spedtex.org, and they will email you the guidelines for the STAR Alt 2. Ta-da!
Perfect.
I felt like we needed to do, hold on. I have a new thing. That's how I'm going to start all my IEP meetings. You guys, this is the best $39 I ever spent on the TikTok shop. Time's up to provide FAPE. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How do you think we can combat the lack of special education teachers versus the rising numbers of kids needing services?
Make it a job that's worth doing. Support your employees. I run a business. If I treated my vendors, my partners, the way school districts, some school districts treat teachers, the only reason you have teachers is because of the golden handcuffs of the TRS. So there's that. Treat people good and they stay. So start with that, and start with number 2, being honest. Be honest to your own staff. Not only are you dishonest to advocates and parents, you're dishonest to your team members. So try that.
I like it.
What a concept. Make a place of work enjoyable. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Can a student get his services in a home?
A home? Like a home or at home?
It says in a home. I'm assuming at home.
So, I mean, I have kids that go to homes. I have kids that end up going to group homes. So, an IEP is not required if you want to homeschool your child. But certainly there's homebound instruction when the committee has agreed that's appropriate for a period of time, whether that's Gen Ed 504 or special education. But they're not going to just come implement an IEP in your house.
Okay. And this one sounds interesting. But when you talk about staff failure to abide by a student's IEP, resulting in a suspension or citation.
Maybe I don't understand the question. Let's try it again from the top with feeling. Hold on. I'm going to adjust my loom cube. My loom cube's too low. There we go. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. All right. Ask the question again with feeling.
All right. Could we talk about staff failure to abide by a student's IEP? Would it result in a suspension or a citation?
For the staff?
Yes.
I don't, you know what? I haven't met the special ed police, but they're on strike. I would like to be out there in my minivan just giving people citations. So it's not about, giving somebody a citation or a suspension. Hopefully it's about equipping people. 99% of what we see is because you didn't care to train your teachers on special ed. You didn't. You care to train the volleyball coach. You care to train the cross-country coach. You care to train the speech person who's taking all the kids to state. I know, because my kids participated in all that. I don't see a lot of care for training educators, special educators, or paraprofessionals. I just don't see that.
When you become an advocate, is it for one single state or more?
It's for the globe. Say it with me, globe. So I have clients in Papua New Guinea, which is where there's a lot of papas and some guinea pigs. I have clients in the UK. I have a client in Japan. So all you need is an Ethernet cord and a love for kids and getting it right for them.
Awesome. My child was suspended. Oh, my comments rolled.
Is that what she said? My child was suspended. Oh.
My comments rolled, yeah. My child was suspended and then cited after staff failed to intervene in a situation with a peer. Is that fair?
So fair and illegal are two different things. I had a hearing officer tell me one time there's a lot of things that are wrong that aren't illegal. So, you know, I mean, many things have changed over the years in education, understandably. If you participate, whether it's a response or initiation in a fisticuffs, you're probably going to get penalized for that. But I don't have enough of the parameters to give a response to that.
Ooh, I love your answer to this one. Do you have classes on writing a PWN?
My goodness. Classes? We got a series. So when you join the academy, which is where all the good-looking, smart, amazing teachers, principals, parents, advocates, attorneys come for their weekly professional development. We have a series that's already archived on specialeducationacademy.com, so come join us. We train once a week on the federal law, the letter of the law, the spirit of the law, and the application of the law. And then we just finished a series, probably about 6 weeks ago, on PWNs. I think it was 5 or 6 weeks long. The requirements, the components, the importance of a prior written notice.
Excellent.
Look at these people just putting in their federal code. Look at Kate. Kay, yeah.
Princess Addie says hi.
Hi.
I just want you to know. Can an IEP scheduler schedule whenever they want, not taking into consideration the schedule?
Not legally. So I just put up a YouTube video. Or that's not true. I just made a YouTube video. It'll be out Thursday. We meet at a mutually agreed upon time. And who is the MU? The MU is the LEA and the parent, the local education agency, and the parent. So I have 5 1 o'clocks in a week. So when people say we can only meet at 1 o'clock, that really impedes the parent's right to meaningfully participate. So I have never not found a time that we can mutually agree upon. If you're going to be a hostage, and Betty Lou Who is like, we meet at Thursdays at 10:43 and that's that. I'm going to say, ma'am, it sounds like you need a snack and maybe a hug, but we look forward to you providing us 3 dates and times to choose from so we can work together. Muffin. I don't think you can go wrong with the muffin. Although somebody on another platform tried to muffin shame me. I am unmuffin shameable. I don't, read the room, people. I like the muffin. She did?
You don't accept that.
I don't receive that. And don't try to take my muffin word. It's not yours.
Would you recommend a 504 or an IEP for a kindergartner? My 5-year-old was just diagnosed with autism.
I would recommend whichever one would appropriately serve him in an educational setting. Kentucky is in the room.
Yay! What happens at 8 Central Standard Time tonight?
We have specialeducationacademy.com. So that's our weekly professional development. Thank you, RM, for teaching me that. She didn't even look up when I gave her initials. Look, she didn't even notice. You know, you try to give somebody credit. This is how it goes. So every Tuesday at 8 p.m., we have our professional development, the Special Education Academy, equipping all of those that sit at the 504 IEP table to successfully navigate and negotiate successful student outcomes, and sometimes to pull out the pool noodle and go, time's up. I'm telling you, I don't have any TikTok shop, but if I did, I would put this. Yeah, I'm telling you, yeah. I wonder if I can take that on. Do you think I can? Do you think I can take that on the cruise this week?
Yes.
Yes, I think we should.
Okay, I'm going to read this one. It might make sense to you. If not, I want them to update it because I'm curious. Manifestation meeting after 10 days. Then do you hold a manifestation of students gets put back in ISS again?
So a manifestation determination resolution meeting, an MDR, manifestation determination resolution meeting, is to talk about the student, the acuity of their disability, their history, and if in fact the behavior that we're considering a disciplinary action is a related or causation of their disability. So at the latest, you have to have an MDR at 10 days. Of course, we're not going to put him back in ISS. We're going to do a new FBA because that's just the law. And we're going to get a program that equips him to be successful at school.
Here's a great one. My son is new to Manor ISD,
Oh.
and I'm having a lot of problems. Can you help?
I can help. I just did a press conference in Manor ISD, and they are struggling to get it right. So I'm in Manor ISD. I have another advocate in Manor ISD, so we want to help you. So just email us at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com, and we'll get it right for you. Otherwise, I'll just drive down and we'll have a big barbecue plate together, and then we'll get it right. They have the best. Cindy and Elena, have you ever had? They're from up north. Have you ever had good barbecue?
Not unless my husband makes it.
Yeah. Have you ever had
Yes.
barbecue from the south side?
No, ma'am.
And do you like your barbecue sauce tangy or sweet?
Tangy.
Sweet.
Oh, I'm going to fix it, people. Don't worry. I'm going to fix it. Elena was right. Cindy was wrong. Okay, yeah. They're learning. It's part of developing their advocate skills. You're definitely
I
related.
look forward to it.
Tangy and sweet.
Yep. Okay, our next question. Can a special education teacher actually teach general education classes without having a general ed license in Colorado?
You couldn't be a special educator unless you were first a general educator. And somebody just said that barbecue was in Elgin. You are correct. So you can't be a special educator till you first came out of teacher school and became an educator. So a special educator is a layering on top of that. So if for some reason you wanted to be a general educator in the great Colorado, get to general educating.
Okay. If a requirement for special education evaluation turns into an MTSS meeting, do I still need a written notice of refusal to evaluate?
Yes. We're not doing that. That's what you need. Yeah, what? It doesn't turn. There's no such thing as an MTSS, STI, UPS, FedEx, RTI, SST. Just stop doing that. That is a violation of child fine. Child fine says that we have to go out, knock on doors, and look for kids that have disabilities, suspected disabilities. And then we have to identify them, locate them, and evaluate them. So stop doing that. That is, ugh. Better not happen in my meeting. Because that meeting will turn into something else called a state complaint.
Okay. What if a child doesn't score low enough on a special education testing, but a typical classroom isn't what they need?
Well, I think you're asking about eligibility. So, good news. In December of 1975, long before you find people were even on the planet, the federal government took care of that for all of us. In 300.111D, which stands for obvious, It says we don't even have to list a child by a disability as long as we agree as a committee that said student is in need of special education related services. We call that problem solved.
Perfect. Can you tell me the difference between a 504 and an IEP?
Well, a 504 is not an education plan. It's a civil right plan. It's a 1973 Rehabilitation Act, and it protects people that have disabilities from being little bitty people to people that work. So if you are a person identified with a disability, you're in school, you're in high school, you go to work, you cannot be discriminated at those institutions based on your disability and denied accommodations. An IEP is an individualized education program. Say it with me. It's a program. We're going to program it, and it's going to enable the student with a disability to make gains in light of his unique circumstances.
I'm from North Carolina, and my son has already been sent home 4.5 days this school year. How many days can they send him home?
Well, at my house, say it with me. None ya. Mm-mm. So when he's sent home, does that mean you go and retrieve him? So you can suspend a child based upon legal criteria. But if you're unable to educate my child based on his emotional needs, behavioral needs, academic needs, functional needs, sensory needs, then it looks like you're unable to provide him an education, and we will be asking for out-of-district placement at the expense of the district. Do not go pick up your child. They are educators. They are gifted and able and ready, willing, and able to educate your child when you leave them at the school.
When you have a kiddo that has been diagnosed ED, is every misbehavior a manifestation?
Probably not, because he's a human, right? I mean, you're still, whether you have a disability or not, you're still a human. I've never seen a disability eclipse a person. So, but you certainly might have a more difficult time teasing those things out. So ED simply means that a student's emotions are not calibrated. And so our job is to write an IEP with rigor, not to overwhelm him, to teach him emotions are not calibrated. And so our job is to write an IEP with rigor, not to overwhelm him, to teach him emotions are not calibrated. And so our job is to write an IEP with rigor, not to overwhelm him, to teach him strategies to self-manage his disability.
As a gen ed teacher, what can I do when there are so many testing accommodations? It takes hours to
I don't ever seen these, but my friend Karen said we could prune these. So I don't ever need a document with more than 10 accommodations. I don't ever seen these, but my friend Karen said we could prune these. So I don't ever need a document with more than 10 accommodations. You know why? Because Sally Smith does not stand up in front of biology class and give 48 accommodations and then say good morning. That's redonkulous. Okay, so we need to go back to the table. These accommodations are excessive and not needed by the student.
Why are the districts applying 4 days of services and not 5 days? Is this a law?
Because I haven't been in their meetings. Because y'all took it. Y'all took it. They took federal funds every day. Every day they take federal funds. So are they having basketball practice 4 days a week? Are they having biology class 4 days a week? Are they having air conditioning 4 days a week? Are we eating 4 days a week? I think he has a disability every day, and he'll be getting services every day. What you allow, you agree with. So if I don't agree with it, we're having another meeting. All of my children that need services in class support, they get it daily. There's no way I could say, oh, I guess he won't need help on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we don't do that. Just hold up a picture of me and say, do you want her to come to the next meeting? Is that what you're wanting?
Can a charter school offer 3 days instead of the 5 days that the IEP requires if they're a charter school?
They could offer you 6 seconds. Don't take the offer if it's not what serves the student. Period, end of subject. Like the conversation's over. Stop giving in. Would you say, listen, this is my child. He's going to go to daycare here. We just not going to feed him on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's fine. You would never say that. Stop agreeing to stuff that doesn't benefit the student. Stop it. Just stop it.
To the moon.
Yeah.
What's the best curriculum for SPED students with intellectual disabilities and autism who are very low?
So it's not about a curriculum. It's about an amazing teacher. And we have amazing teachers all over this stinking planet, in every state, in every county, in every city. So you can have the greatest curriculum and the worst teacher. You can have a teacher with no curriculum who loves kids and can modify anything. So it's about the delivery of the product. So you have an alternate product, right? An alternate curriculum. We're working on functional skills, functional academics, those sorts of things. And so it's about a teacher who really knows how to take standardized curriculum that was sold by a vendor to your state and make it applicable for kids.
To your state.
Do you hear the Rottweiler in the other room?
I
Y'all hear
do.
her? Ridiculous.
She agrees with FAPE.
She does.
How long? Yes. How long is reasonable for a teacher to respond to aggressive behaviors to avoid a FAPE violation?
Right. We respond to aggressive behaviors immediately, but there's no reasonable. Like, we're not allowing that. Why would you allow any aggressive behavior?
Right. Okay. Whose role is it in an IEP meeting to recommend change of placement?
The person presenting the data.
Okay.
And then you sing that song, "We're gonna make a change." Yeah. So somebody proposed a change today, and then I went to the schedule of services page. I said, well, actually, you're not even implementing what we agreed upon last year. She said it was a clerical error. I said it's illegal. It's not a clerical error. We can fix it. Oh, no. We like the paperwork because we signed off on it. It's codified. So implement this, and we'll talk to you later about goofiness. I might not have said that last part, but I said the other part. Yeah.
Oh, sister, I want to do one more. Okay. Because it says, I am an Academy member. 10 stars for you already. Procedural Safeguards video on Academy says IEE available if initial evaluation is denied. Can't find it in IDEA.
Oh. So it's in your procedural safeguards. So go to your state's website, print out your procedural safeguards. You have the right to request an independent educational evaluation should you disagree with components or the totality of an evaluation. That is your right to request it at the expense of the district. Now, they have a legal right for their responses, but that's in the training that we're actually in a procedural safeguards training right now.
Okay. My child has an IEP schedule that was changed without notice. I was not notified. Is that legal?
It's a crime. It's just a crime. It's not even a good one. Yep. We don't get to do that. If we got to do that, we would just send out emails all year long. We wouldn't have IEP meetings. We're going to do this. You can like it or lump it. Love Yahoo Independent School District. But we don't get to do that. So I would ask them when they're going to rectify the violation of a free appropriate public education and denying you meaningful participation in the IEP process.
Okay. Hold on, my thing just scrolled and it shouldn't have.
Did she say I'm just going to pull on my thing? Ma'am, this is not that kind of live. I apologize. I just...
No.
Rachel heard you too. Rachel's just a guest. Yeah.
Okay. Any tips for twice exceptional 5-year-old boy who is gifted and high functioning autistic? His IQ is 122.
I struggle with kids that are gifted in school. I struggle with kids that are twice exceptional because they're rarely, doesn't mean it can't happen in your school, is enough to keep them engaged without just making them do extra work. So I'm a very successful advocate. This is the area that I have had the least success at because, again, public schools are teaching to general education curriculum.
As a special education teacher, I'm being told to deliver my instruction in general ed. Is this violating IEPs?
So on the IEP schedule of services, it will say the content area. So let's say that it says science. And it'll either say general ed, special ed. So that's where the instruction is given. And then there'll be another column that says the grade. And it might say one of my favorite words to say in public, joint, which means both teachers work together to do the grade. But it's teased out on the schedule of services page or the determination of services. And let me clarify, it's not a determination of para minutes. Amazing. It doesn't say determination of para minutes. It says determination of services. Those services are special education services. So we're about to do a series on the people that I love the most in schools, paraprofessionals, the game changers, their limitations, their expectations, their obligations, and how they support the staff. So you don't want to miss that series that's coming up in the academy.
My twins have behavioral problems. Their IEP is for ST and OT. Do they need ADHD from the doctor to link behavioral issues?
They need an eligibility. So a speech impairment can be a standalone eligibility. Occupational therapy is a related service under IDEA, not an eligibility. So if you have students that are speech only, we are not required to write goals in other areas. But there are 13 eligibilities under IDEA with many eligibilities under them. So if you had another eligibility, you could have an eligibility for basic reading and still have behaviors because it's so frustrating for you to read. But without that main eligibility other than standalone speech, you're not going to be able to have behavioral goals. So I would go back and ask for a full evaluation and ask for a psychological to include all eligibility categories, a functional behavior assessment, rating scales from at least 2 teachers, the parents, and a student interview if appropriate.
Yeah. Okay, outside evaluation. How long does the school have to set up a meeting once requested?
So they don't set up a meeting for an outside evaluation. The school never asked for an evaluation. You did. So you ask for an IEE at the expense of the district. The district is amazing, and they're not, in the middle of Florida. And they grant that, and then it's your job, because you requested it, to locate a vendor that the school uses. The school will provide you a list. It's not an exhaustive list, but you find a vendor, somebody that does outside evaluations in the area that you had disagreement. You provide or make available your student. That vendor will also work with the school to do observations during the school year if in fact that's needed. And then that vendor, that evaluator, will write an evaluation. They will provide it back to the person that purchased it, which was the school district. And then the school district has whatever time that they need to look it over, and then they will call an IEP meeting to review the findings, recommendations.
Okay. Does an educational diagnosis of autism need qualify for the state services in Texas?
So if you have autism and it's an educational eligibility, that means that you met eligibility under the Individuals with Disability Education Act. So it means that you are due an IEP. It doesn't mean you are due specific services.
When is your next 2-day live?
Well, it could be live right now at your house. It will feel live. It will feel like we're together. I can't remember what I wore in those, but I'm sure I looked amazing. So you can do the 2-day on demand at any time at your pace, but we have a 2-day coming up, which we're very excited about, which will be, when will it be? It will be November 2nd and 3rd. It'll be the last one of the year. So please, all the good-looking, happy, amazing people will be there, including you. So you don't want to miss this. This way you're able to ask your questions, and we really couldn't be more excited about equipping people to be amazing advocates if they sit at the IEP table.
Absolutely. What should I do when the teacher rips up a child's paper as a consequence of a child's behavior?
Can I say what I really want to say? What? What is wrong with you, banana head? You're supposed to be an example that you want children to model. That's just, obviously you shouldn't be teaching children If you feel good about doing that to a minor, you need to get on down the road and do something else for a living. Go on now. That's what we say in Texas. Get. Go on. And somebody keeps asking what state I'm in. I think it's very obvious. I'll give you a clue. I'm in this state. I'm going to let you guess what state that is. Texas.
State of perfection?
Yes, state of perfection. Yeah, you just go to Special Education Academy to sign up. Yeah. Thank you. Annetta Lynn. That's a Texas. Annetta Lynn. That's a Southern name right there. Yeah.
I like it. Do you have to do a reevaluation to go from indirect to direct mental health minutes?
No, it can just be a recommendation by the committee that the student rises to a higher level of support.
Oh, several people said, thank you for all that you do. You are amazing.
Thank you. I love serving the person I used to be. And the person I used to be was a tired, terrified mother in the 90s, and nobody would help me with anything. So thanks, you guys.
The school is saying my son can only go to school for 2.5 hours because of hand biting and hitting his head, but there are no marks.
Maybe you should just go in there and bite somebody. I feel like we should bring biting back. I'm a big fan of biting. I think it makes like your honeymoon fun. What is wrong with people? Like people like this, I like to make stuff up, but we just like, we make it up. Like, I don't know if you're auditioning for HBO. I was in a meeting today. Can I just tell you something? Rabbit trail. I was in a meeting today and I said, well, you're not sending him to social studies. She goes, social studies is the same thing as reading. I said, a lot of things we're going to do. That ain't one of them. So you're telling me that history is the same thing as phonemic awareness in 5th grade? So what we do is we merge it. Let's not do that. I've not had enough coffee. I've not been shopping today. You're irritated. So what we do is we merge it. Let's not do that. I've not had enough coffee. I've not been shopping today. You're irritating me. Stop talking. Just stop. This work with the other people. I made this work with college graduates because I didn't graduate college. I guess when you're, I don't know. She said it happens in 2 hours and 4 minutes. She said 2:04. Okay, first of all, that's not true. That is not true. There's no 04 minutes. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Yeah.
I've never seen that on a Judy clock, that's for sure.
Mm-mm.
An IEP states para support, although the para for my son is different daily, so they are not aware of my son's IEP. What can I do?
So here's what I would say. So we reverse engine that, right? We unpack that. So if I had a different bus driver every day, if I had a different football coach, if I had a different English teacher every day, would they be able to make gains with a general ed student? No, because you don't have continuity of instruction. Forget knowing about my child with a disability. There's no continuity. So the reason that your child needs that para is what you need to dial down on. And so somebody different, and they don't even give you the names, that's not going to fly with me. So somebody, did I say that, Melissa? Let's not do that. Did I say that? I think I do. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. So let's not do that. Yeah. So I love paras. Paras are ridiculously amazing. You should give them cash under the table and all of the chocolates they want 24 hours a day. But I don't need somebody to babysit my kid. I can babysit at home. I can put in a video here, nor do I need somebody to just stand with him. The point of the para is to support the general ed and special education teachers. So I would tie it back to the need for the para.
Excellent. What is the cost for an IEE?
Emotionally or financially? I mean, the cost it varies. In fancy towns like Massachusetts, it might be $2,800, and then in Wyoming, it might be $1,400. All districts have a cap on them. A small, tiny little cap with a brim. A cap.
A student qualified at a private school for an IEP. The public school says no without a reeval. Is that legal?
Okay, your first statement is inaccurate, love. Your child did not qualify at a private school because private schools don't have IEPs. They have versions of them, but they don't have individualized education plans. So, so it's not about a location. It's about a disability need, right? Does the student have a disability? Does it rise to the level of needing specially designed instruction, IEP goals, and support? And so I'm sure him moving from a private school to public school doesn't change that. So you want to get back to the table and talk about his deficits. Where is he not in the normed and average range? And where do we need to write IEP goals? Because they cannot solely implement them by the general education staff.
Yes. Can a state complaint look at an extracurricular ban for 3 years of a student's behaviors/disability?
So here's how it's going to work. 180 days OCR complaint. A state complaint, 1 year. Due process, 2 years. So we don't just go back. So I would need more information about behaviors and banned. Those are two kind of unique situations. I need more information on that.
Okay. I have a question. If we have kiddos struggling with PE, should they be requesting adaptive PE?
No, I struggled with PE because there was sweating and no hairspray. So when you say struggling with PE, there's a million things you could be struggling with PE. And is it, I don't like these kids. I don't understand why the guy's yelling at me with a whistle. So adaptive PE are for students that have physical limitations. They're not able to physically do the state standards of physical education, right? They couldn't, if they're 8, you're expected to, I'm just making this up, back up 7 feet and throw a ball and catch it, and they can't do that. So adaptive PE means that we need to take that state standards and make an adaptation so that they can still participate. So, but you might be in PE and need para support. That might happen.
Okay. Will you be having any in-person training?
I will be having an in-person training. It's just going to be me, but it's going to be amazing. But I'm going to invite you. So we are having an in-person training February 15th and 16th, Saturday and Sunday, 2025 in Orlando, Florida. So we would like for you to all come. We don't have it up yet. We'll be posting that, and it'll be fantabulous. And all of my partners will be there helping you be amazing. They don't know that yet, but now they do. I just, you know how I live my life. Surprise!
My daughter has an IEP, and her co-lab teacher came to me and told me to drop the service because she was so rude.
What? I don't think rude's an eligibility or a disqualifier. So there is that muffin. And we don't drop, we drop it like it's hot. Like if you're at the club or you're at Uncle Vinny's wedding, you drop it. We don't drop things in special education. These are legal requirements. The state and the school district receives federal funding. It's you wrote a letter annually about how you're going to meet your IEP obligations. There's no dropping stuff. This is not like you signed up for Taekwondo.
My third grader was evaluated last year, and she was on her ADHD meds. Should I have her reevaluated not on the meds?
Well, since I'm not a doctor, and that would be horrible if your doctor gives your child a prescription and I tell you to not give them their prescription. No, we want the child tested, how they show up every day. So if they show up every day on medicine, I would never tell you to alter that. A lot of things we do as advocates, we don't manipulate outcomes. The student either needs a service or they don't. And no, I'm not a lawyer. I like lawyers. I've seen lawyers. I've been in photos with lawyers. I've needed a lawyer.
Okay. A student has a one-to-one all day per their IEP. If the designated one-to-one is absent, does the IEP still need to be followed?
The IEP needs to be followed when the student comes to school. So unless the student is not at school, you wouldn't follow the IEP. So and people have lives, they have to get a root canal, they have to get their hair colored, they have to get a new set of tires. They're not going to be at school every single day. So teachers are humans. So if we would just put another staff member with that student that day while that para was taking care of something outside of school.
Okay. What is your verbiage when the school asks for a child to be picked up early due to behavior?
So I've got to stop that, which you know I'm not going to. So we're not picking you up early. Are you sending the money back? So I'm picking you up 2 hours early. You're sending 2 hours worth of federal funds back? I'm not picking him up. You are public school. You're required to educate students. If you are unable to educate my students based on his needs, we will be needing to have a meeting so we can look at out-of-district placement at the expense of the district. Not a problem.
Okay. What should I expect from a manifestation meeting with the following meeting for expulsion of my child?
Well, if you already have a following meeting for expulsion, that's called predetermination. So I don't need to attend it. So you would have the manifestation determination resolution meeting, and all members would look at the data, and in that meeting you decide whether or not there should be a consequence, the length of the consequence, a consequence at all, based on is the action a result or causation of their disability. So I don't know why you would have an expulsion meeting before you had an MDR unless you were not going to consider anybody's input at the meeting. That would be a crime.
Yes, ma'am.
Cindy.
I have been a witness to a crime many times.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it better to be a witness to a crime with your friend Karen there?
Yes. 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what I say? This ain't that. So, yeah.
This ain't that.
Mm-mm.
I have bad test anxiety and my grades are always suffering. Should I get a 504?
You should get a 504 if you need accommodations based on an identified disability.
Okay. And a lovely comment here for you. You're adorable, so smart and funny.
Thank you. Can you tell that to my husband? He's also adorable. He's very, very smart. And there's a smattering of funny. Just as like on a cupcake. Just a smattering.
Okay. District. Is the home district still responsible for travel services?
So I missed the beginning of that. I think I know what you said, but will you say it again?
If I take my child out of district, would the home district still be responsible for travel?
If it's the decision of the IEP committee that your student needs to attend another district, then they are responsible for travel. If you take your child somewhere else, then you are responsible for the whole thing.
Can a student lose their IEP after being on medication and therapy help their behavior?
So we don't lose IEPs, we don't drop IEPs, they don't evaporate. If you believe that your student is no longer in need of special education and related services, then we do the same thing, the same way we got in, same way we get out. Formalized testing.
Would you ever do a one-on-one question and answer session with a teacher concerned with her district?
Yeah, so there is on my website, you can purchase an hour of my time, and we do one-on-one coaching there.
Any good books or resources for SPED advocacy on sale for Amazon Prime Days today or tomorrow?
I don't know, nothing about no Amazon Prime. This is a great book that you should know about. This is on my, look at that. Look at that. Can we just look at that? Just look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So this is on my link, Special Education Academy. If you go to my Amazon bookstore, and then somewhere in my reach, that's my Bible verses for the day. That's so I don't bite people in a meeting. This is an amazing book, which is on my Amazon. I'm going to hold it still. This is such a gangster book. You should all, 247 of you right now, do this screenshot. The special educators, see this word? Comprehensive, which includes the word comprehend. Guide to diagnostic and testing. This is amazing. And somewhere is, of course, my amazing, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere within reach. Oh, here it is. It's right under my bell. These are the 3 books that really helped me become an amazing advocate. So this is 34 CFR, the Federal Code, Volume 2 of 4, Volume 2 of 4. So this is also on Special Education Academy. I have a bookshelf. That's my Amazon bookshelf. I don't think you're going to get a better price on Prime, but you probably could get a blow dryer and a back comb.
If I ever break into your house, I'm taking the book with all of the tabs. That's value.
And you know who did those tabs? Not I. Look at these. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God, it's just sensory overload. So, and I think it's only like 40 bucks now. The DSM-5 used to be like $200. This is amazing. This will really help you understand the root of some great needs that your kids have emotionally. I want the tabs. Yeah, the tabs come with it. Then you have to find a 17-year-old to put them in there.
Yes, $200 and 200 pounds.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
Somebody just asked if I was an advocate for College Station. I am an advocate for College Station. And Bryan and, you know, Snook, all of those districts. I got the puzzle piece. Well, why did they have to do the puzzle piece? Like, am I interrupting my own live? Yeah.
I had to get my son from school today because of aggressive behavior. I can't remember what you said to do or send to the school about that.
Dear school, you called me to pick up my son because he had behavioral needs that you couldn't address. Please note that October 8th, 2024, you were unable to provide him an education. Bloop. Now the bloop is invisible, but you put it on there. Yeah. And then we just calculate those, and after a couple of times, then we're going to call a meeting to see if we need to find another location to educate him.
What happens after Ask the Advocate?
Well, there will be more hairspray, maybe a new set of glasses, definitely some more lipstick. Right now I'm doing this Estee Lauder color with a little folklore shimmer on it. And then we'll have Special Education Academy at 8 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. Fun for all. We are in a series, Procedural Rights and Safeguards. So that teaches you what your procedural rights and safeguards are and what the language would be if they violated them, and then how you would file a state, federal, or due process mediation.
Awesome.
Oh, somebody says your calendar for 101 is saying it's currently unavailable. Really? That's not true. I'm always available. So just send an email to advocate@specialeducationacademy.com and say that you're interested in an hour of coaching, and we'll get you that link.
It's well worth it.
It's well worth it, and you can record it. You can record it and play it over and over and over again. Because you can never hear enough of my voice late at night. Can you, ladies?
Correct. I want to ask for increased speech services. How do I know how much I can ask for?
So what does he need? Right? So you have to realize that speech in an educational setting is probably less than you're wanting. So this is pretty standard if they're in elementary school. 2 speech sessions a week. If they're in junior high, probably one every other week. And high school, maybe 1 or 2 a grading period. So you want to make sure that we're delivering the related or instructional service, but we're not doing so many of those things that we take away instructional time.
The child has an IEP. Her IEP indicates modifications, but the modifications are still higher than her learning level. What do I do?
Call a meeting. Say this ain't that. Yeah. So we need to reduce her learner expectations so she can make adequate gains, and what you're giving her is too high.
Okay. My son has been suspended multiple times, and they always give him unexcused absences. Is that allowed?
That's funny. I mean, it's not funny. I apologize. Unexcused absences. Actually, you did the absence. So, I don't know why he's being... So, for me, the first thing is I would address that question. Yeah, a suspension, I don't know how that looks on your record. It's going to be different at each district. I would get clarification from the school board what their policy is. If you ever want to know your school board's policy, your state Department of Education, literally while you're on the phone, can look it up for you. Because I'll say, where are you calling from? Highlands County, Florida. Hold on. Okay, I have their school board rules right here. Oh, wow, fancy.
Okay. I love following you
Oh.
and wonder if you can work with us for my son.
I certainly am I'm always open to taking clients. We have a team of partners, but certainly send us an email at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com and let them know that you're wanting to work with me directly, and we'll look at getting you a match.
Okay. I was told a kid can only qualify for adaptive composite IQ below 70. Is that true?
No, we qualify because there's a need.
Okay.
And somebody asked if I ever work with teachers to help advocate for students if parents won't. Yeah, so it ends up working out that 2/3 or 3/4 of the people that take our trainings are school-based members. So we are always working. We love teachers. Teachers are ridiculously amazing. We love them. Anybody that would take other people's children all day, you definitely are angels from heaven. But we do professional development. I'm about to go do a huge professional development for 2 days in Nevada, and I'll make good choices. But yeah, we do that on all kinds of levels. We do webinars. We do sessions for agencies. We do in-district teaching.
I'm going to reread one. It says, I was told a kid can only qualify for alternative assessment if they have an adaptive composite IQ below 70. True?
Lying. The language is a significant cognitive impairment. So the word significant is subjective, right? So you could have a significant cognitive impairment and be at 72. So that is a combination of a number of things, right? Do I need PCS? Do I need personal care services? Do I need an IHP, an individualized healthcare plan? Do I need a behavior plan? Do I need adaptations to the curriculum that rise to the level of an alternate curriculum? So it's not if it was in isolation, it would have said, yo, 70 is the cutoff. But it doesn't say that. There's no yo in IEP. Is there? I don't think there is. We're anti-yo.
This ain't that.
This ain't that.
Okay. We have time for one more. Several people say that they want to work for you. And are you hiring? They have all kinds of experiences. What would they have to do to be like you?
Well, you'd have to be a college dropout. So if you are wanting to work for me, we don't need anybody to work for us, but we train people to become professional advocates. So we do that through the 2-day. And then the ones that become really amazing professional advocates are the ones that take the mastermind, which these 3 ladies here can tell you are ridiculously amazing. There are times that we have openings in our partnership program that we take on a few advocates during the year. That is a process, an application process, an interview process. But certainly we want to train you to be a special education advocate, a little baby boss out there serving kiddos from C to starting C, and we have a very efficient way to do that so that you'll be successful.
Fantastic.
So you can sign up for the 2-day at specialeducationacademy.com if you're from England. How would you say it, Elena?
.com.
.com. Yeah. Well, I love you guys. We love you. We love equipping you. Because really when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. So you guys jump off, get a snack, get a beverage, get an adult beverage if you're an adult. If you're not an adult, what are you doing on TikTok? And we'll see you guys in the next training.